Okay.
If you hit record, if you hit more on the bottom right, okay, and I'll hit
Yeah.
allow. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, Ivan, we're back. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you again. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And for anybody that has not heard our original episode, I would say pause now, go back, go listen. Incredible episode. Um, Unbelievable story. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, we'll talk about happier things today on this call. So Lauren,
Definitely.
Lauren, you hit it up. Let's go. First question.
What is Breeze?
Oh, well, Breeze is the company that are founded by, I would say, very big visionaries, and they encapsulated that the Lightning network is this very, very complex system, but it shouldn't be for the normal user. So that what everything that the work is on the dev side or everything in the company, we're trying to make Lightning Network to be a breeze for the users, for the devs, so eventually for the world.
There you go.
Well, that was a breeze.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you don't remember this, but when we were in Riga, the last day we had lunch, we sat outside and you were sat opposite Shooter. Do you remember? Before we went to the airport?
Oh,
Yeah. And so to my
Yeah.
right, I was sitting next to Roy. Roy was one of the founders of Breeze, or is the founder. I don't know the exact terminology that he would use, so I don't want to put words in his mouth. But he gave me a hummus making lesson, a 1 hour long hummus making lesson, which I'll be forever thankful to Roy for. And I got some hummus stacked away in the freezer because I made absolutely huge amounts of it. But yeah, so that's Roy. So
right.
okay. Anyway,
Okay.
you can
Okay.
you can
Yes.
Well,
run upstairs now.
Anyway, thank you. Bye.
thank you. Bye.
So I guess I think a good place to start for the plebs listening would be your journey away from fiat land into Bitcoin land, because this is a story I think that resonates with everybody that's listening, because many of the people out there who have been into Bitcoin for any number of years, it could even be as minimal as 1 or 2 years, you suddenly realize, huh, I want to work in this space and I don't want to work for this guy anymore or this company or what I've been doing for the last 10 or 15 years. So, how did you manage to transition away from a fiat role? What were you doing? And how did you find yourself working for a Bitcoin company?
I would say that it was a little bit of luck, just like in life, it's part of life, but also some strategical positioning. And at the core of it, I would say, is that I just decided I'm not going to ask for permission from anybody. And I said, this is too goddamn important. And so with my story, with everything that it's just, I felt compelled. It's not even that I decided, it's just, I was positioned to see some stuff and to be very emotional for me and to say, this is so much more than me. This is so much more than the fucking money. This is so much more than just serving some people. And I decided with this in mind. I never felt for anything in my life this emotion. I can't even describe it into words, but from that position, and I decided this must happen, and through whatever shape, form, title, or actions that I have to do, I just have to contribute. And for everybody that would like to transition, and I don't think there is a fiat and there is a Bitcoin job. I think that it is about the mission, because even if you have your fiat income, but you save in Bitcoin, you put effort into the ecosystem, you do something on the side, you're still a full Bitcoiner, but you're selling your fiat, which is the important thing, and you are accumulating in Bitcoin, transacting in Bitcoin more and more, or whatever it is. And I think there is a big analogy, just like the devs, there's an open source project. Think that your Bitcoin job is open sourced. And now that I'm engaged in the Bulgarian community about Bitcoiners, and shout out to Orange Pleb about that, it's so much more important to not ask for permission, but decide, I like this company, I like this project, I would like to contribute this, and start doing it. And the value of having an income or having a Bitcoin job will come after that, because everybody has their unique story, everybody has their unique skills, and they can contribute without even asking for permission. Just like I did with the podcast in the beginning. I watched the podcast that I liked, I did some animations, and I put it out there. And two of the biggest podcasts out there reached out to me to do some work for them. And I didn't ask, should I do this? I just provided that value. And the same approach I tried to do in the conference, meeting Jeff Wood and whatever it is. Just give, and give as much as you can, because it is about the mission. And it will be maybe a little bit of time, maybe a little bit more, but eventually the value will come back in a shape and form that it's unique and perfect for you. So that's how I would say, don't ask permission, just go and do the thing that you think it's important and you're uniquely positioned to do, and everything will work itself out, just like the open source community. You don't have to be a dev to contribute. You can contribute in any shape or form.
Yeah, that's a great point. Building on Bitcoin, right? We hear that term all of the time. And for most of us, the knee-jerk reaction is, well, I can't code. I can't build on Bitcoin. I'm not going to sit there and download the source code and look for bugs and then build something better on Bitcoin and, like, enter a BIP proposal. That's not, that's one way to build on Bitcoin. And this is what I try and tell people all the time. Write a kid's book about Bitcoin. That's building on Bitcoin. Start a podcast. That's building on Bitcoin. Chop podcasts up, the little clips. Go to Fountain app, clip. Put out a 15-minute clip of your favorite quotes. That is building on Bitcoin. Building on Bitcoin could mean so many different things. I mean, the lady, what was her name? Refit Dance. Remember, she was doing those crazy dances and the sailor song, sailor, bull. Yeah. Everybody was like, what is this? She was building on Bitcoin. So it's there are so many different things that people can bring to this space. But yeah, taking that responsibility and that initiative first of all, and getting out there and meeting people. Big proponent of the Bitcoin social layer, as everybody would probably now know since listening to the show. Big fan of what Orange Pill app have achieved with bringing plebs together. There are success stories from Orange Pill app every week, and that will soon become every day, because people meet each other like, I've got this idea, and a shout out to one of the plebs on Orange Pill app actually that just reached out to me in the last 3 weeks. Just discovered the show, going down the rabbit hole a lot harder and a lot faster since listening to it. And he's like, he sends me this message. Could you send me the audio to episode XYZ? Because it's a bit scratchy and I can clean it up for you and then you can get it back out there. I'm like, wow, yes, thank you. So he cleans up the audio, sends it back. I replaced the audio on the feed, and now I have a much better finished product for anybody that's going to follow us in our footsteps out there forever, right? Hopefully, unless, the feeds get rug pulled, but it's on Fountain app, so it will be out there forever. And that's him just entering into the space. goodness knows where that takes him, because he can now start doing that to all the other podcasters that he's listening to, and maybe even clean up YouTube videos or whatever. But this is how it starts, and that's down to you, the individual, to, stick your head up and say, right, I'm here. This is what I can do. This is how I can do it, and I just want to add value somewhere, and you'll never know where that takes you.
Absolutely. And just start that process. Just decide, okay, I'm going to do whatever. It does not matter what exactly it is. Just a few examples. One of them is a dev thing, and a person in Bulgaria asked me, and he knows obviously about Breeze. And he said, isn't there a position in Breeze, and trying the Fiat mindset, the proof of stake, the inside privilege or advantage, just because he knows me? And I said, we're not looking right now, and you're a dev. There are so many open source things. Just decide to do something in the space. And yeah, but I don't have the skills. Again, do it. And he started to do the Slack for some Noster clients and stuff like that. And because he was doing the most of the Slack of the code, fixing the bugs that are low priority and stuff like that, he received half a Bitcoin from a fund because he did the most amount of stuff about that. And again, he didn't ask for the half a Bitcoin. And it's again this type of a mentality. Don't ask to do it. Just do it, and it will follow. It will follow whether it's a job, it will follow whether it's a Bitcoin, it will follow in a form of fiat, and you use it to sell it and buy Bitcoin, whatever it is. Another thing that happened, just because I formed a community, right now, my co-founder of the meetup that we're doing, his parents have a restaurant that they sell beef and meat, and also a farm. So they started accepting Bitcoin, and guess where some of the meetups go now? That's another thing, providing value to the meetup community, and providing value for their parents, and providing value for so many things, and it's connected. And it's again, he didn't ask for, can we do the meetup there? The community said, oh, you're selling this, let's do it. And of course we are going to support our pleb. But again, don't think, oh, I need a permission to go to jobs, so I need somebody to decide my salary, or that's the reverse. Don't think about what you're getting. Go do stuff. And it's inevitable that it will come back to you, and it will start to multiply because you're not diluted like the fiat system. It will just build and build and build, and the network effect will go stronger. So just go and fucking do it. No permission, no nothing, do it.
There's the message, plebs. There is the message. Go do it. And to stick with Bulgaria, there's been some big news in the last few weeks with the football team. What's going on? What do you know about that? Because I think that was mainly George. Maybe I don't know, but I know the community in. You have Playman there as well, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these names all incorrectly, but Bulgarian Bitcoiners together strong by the looks of things. Orange pilling the as far as I'm aware, the oldest club in Bulgaria, right? Like the most traditional club.
Yeah, it is in our highest division of football, which is great because they have big exposure. But again, George is part of the community, and now we have Bitcoin only meetups, regular meetups, which was lacking. I started the first one, but with the intention, I don't want to do the meetup, but somebody has to. And now we have 3 cities with regular meetups. And one of the meetups, again, George is involved with the Botev football club and doing the promotion of Bitcoin there. They set up the BTC Pay server. One person in Bulgaria is working on that and collaborating, setting their merge for the club to accept Bitcoin via Lightning Network. Then he said, okay, I'm going to make a regular meetup in our city, and it just spirals. And when I installed Orange PO app in January, I think we were 4 people in Bulgaria. And now it's just multiplied in not only in Orange PO app, but about the communities. There was 0 regular meetups. They were still happening, but was irregular. And from you can't track where they were happening, but now it's regular. And I want to inspire at least 10 cities in Bulgaria to have regular things to happen. There's a person trying to Orange PO a taxi company that's with 4,000 cars. If that thing happens, it would be awesome. And he's not a dev. He is just somebody that came to me and started to understand more and more the Lightning Network, and said, can we do something in this? And I said, sure, let's meet the people. I don't know if it will happen, but again, we are not asking anybody to do it. We just find an opportunity and see what happens, putting that value out and doing the effort. But about the football club, it's awesome about the exposures. So yeah.
And for a little bit of history, let's just delve down into Bulgaria a little bit for those that are interested in ever visiting. As far as I'm aware, you're not part of the European Union.
We are, but not fully, let's say.
Right, okay.
We
But
have to
you
do some
maintain
conditions.
you've maintained control over your currency, right? The lev.
Not really. We're
Okay.
directly tied
Okay.
to the euro.
All right. Let's get into that. What? Tell us what you can. So it is or it isn't part of the European Union. You do suffer or you don't suffer from inflation. The EU does have a hand in some of the stuff you do, or what? How's it set up?
Yeah, I'm not the best person to be asked about politics and what's happening in the news. I don't follow that unless it directly impacts me. But the Bulgarian lev is directly tied to euro. So roughly 1 euro equals 2 leva. And that is since, I think, 10 years now, maybe more. I don't know exactly when it happened. So essentially we have the half a euro is our currency. So the inflation is directly tied to the inflation of the euro. We don't have additional inflation. The other thing is we are a part of the euro, I think, but not there. I think there are ranks or something like this, and we have to do some other stuff. We have to fix some roads, but then they do an audit. What did we do? They put other criteria for us to join, but I'm not well versed. I may be lying about some of the stuff even now, just because I don't track, and I really don't care about those sorts of things. But yeah, whatever happens now, if it impacts me directly, obviously the news comes to me. But I think if you ask Plamen about those sorts of things, he tracks them because of the news, and he can be more how do I say, detailed about those things.
I've not visited. We need to get over there. I've been shilled it hard because there is a big world school community that meets up in Bansko, one of your ski regions, every January and February. And shout out to Nathan Day from BTC Maps. He's been a handful of times. He runs some Bitcoin events down there as well for kids to learn. And he loves it. He's like, yeah, this place, man, it's just amazing. And I met another family recently who visit a lot as well. Yeah, it's crazy. The people are unbelievable. The food is wonderful. Lots of it's meat heavy. Your beers are cheap. So what's not to love? I mean, they love their football. So sounds to me it could be Citadel country.
Yeah, one of the big things now is that I realized once I started the community, I thought that I wanted to orange peel a lot of people. And I saw that that is an uphill battle. And even if you get somebody, it's adding one more node to the network, which is valuable. But in the process, I realized that the people that are doing are 10 times more important than the people that are no coiners coming into Bitcoiners. And one of the people in community felt inspired to do something. And I think it's a model of a conference where everybody should do it. And at least there should be one in each country. And the model is the following. We do a seminar. We did the first one last month. And we invite an accounting firm or a person that talks about the law in our country, how it can be treated for the income to accept Bitcoin, when you spend it, how you put it on the balance sheet, or all sorts of things. Some stuff are not even resolved in our laws in Bulgaria, but that's one of the things. The second part is doing marketing, how you can promote it, where you put it, the BTC map or the orange pill or like whatever it is, how to promote that you actually accept it. And the third part is practical. We talk about BTC base server, about non-custodial wallets, about custodial wallets, about the social layer, how you can start a meetup. And that type of model is how do I say, different for every country because the laws are different, the accounting rules are different. But because the first conference was so successful, now we're going to do this conference every 6 months or so, maybe more. And I think this model is applicable for every country, and because it is oriented to merchants, how you can start accepting Bitcoin. And if I have again one person accumulating Bitcoin and saving and a little bit spending is great, but if you start adding merchants more and more, I think that's the next frontier for all of us. Because even now that I went on a vacation, I went into BTC Map and I wanted to find who are the people around me that I want to spend my sats there. I don't want to spend the fiat. Like, I just want to give value to the people that actually provide value the most to me and to the ecosystem. But I think that's a very good model that every country should think about doing. And you don't need a lot. It's just like a meetup, but it's not about plebs, it's about merchants, which is cool.
Yeah, 100%. And I do the same with BTC Map too. Whenever we are in a different town, city, country, straight there. And if there's a place, unfortunately, it's still hit and miss because there are still a lot of old listings there that either don't accept Bitcoin anymore, or the business has changed hands, or it's something. But that is down to the plebs to help curate that information set. And you now, for anybody listening that's not on BTC Map, download it. It's very easy. Find out if there's anywhere near you. Go to that place and verify. We need plebs verifying all of the time. I saw Joe Hall yesterday, Joe Nakamoto. He made a tweet. He went to go and get coffee and a croissant from a cafe in London because it said, bam, we accept Bitcoin. And it's even got Bitcoin accepted here stickers all over the place and a BTC Map sticker. But because the owner of the business wasn't there with his phone, then they couldn't accept Bitcoin. So one step at a time, right? Don't lose faith. Don't lose heart. Yeah. The owner of that business had good intentions, but clearly hasn't taken that next step of setting up the full staff. And this is what Bridge to Bitcoin do in the UK. It's a great service. They would go to that business, get them set up with a Swiss Bitcoin Pay app on everybody's phone, which is a slave to the main account. So then they could all accept Bitcoin if somebody came in and asked, which isn't going to be very often because we are still so early. But anyway, back to Breeze and what you're doing there. And what, you know, you transitioned from your Fiat life into life at Breeze. What epiphanies, you know, now you're there, now you're under the hood, now you're working in Bitcoin every day. There must be something that has like clicked again inside your brain, inside your mind. Now you're actually working in it every day and building for the plebs. What's been that journey like?
I would say it even though Bitcoin orange pills you, but it's just like the Bitcoin itself. There's another wave of realization and another wave of realization, and it's all for so. It never hit me in a bad way. Like, yeah, I feel the struggle when I want the adoption to happen faster or something like that. But when you realize the implication, I never saw something that would, how do I say, threaten people or such a bad thing. It's always for the good and for 10x good. And first of all, shout out to the founders of Breeze, because I have no idea how many struggles and things you have to endure for 5 years, even more now. But to have the vision from a simple white paper of the Lightning Network to realize the vision of Breeze, what it should be, and there's they set it so many standards in the Lightning Network and continuing to do so. But that was the first big realization, the vision of actually the founders, the Breeze vision of making Lightning really a breeze, and not through the whole stack, because yeah, you can have your own nodes, but you need a lot of knowledge, some expertise, you have to know hardware, and that thing doesn't scale. They said, okay, we are going to give the nodes to the plebs, and you just click redeem or send funds, and it's non-custodial. Now we're abstracting away with the SDK that even the barrier for the developers is again crushed to accept Bitcoin. You are a programmer, you can make an app, and you have almost no idea about the Lightning Network. Plug in the SDK and your app now becomes a Bitcoin app. And you can accept Bitcoin.
Just because people listening might not understand what SDK means or stands for. Can you explain what that is and how it comes to be?
Yeah, SDK is software development kit, and what it actually means is it is a code that, imagine that a website has a front end, what you see, and a back end, which is just a code, but when you click on that button, what has to happen? And the SDK is you can build the front end of one application, whether it's a social app or a game or whatever you like it to be, and you can make that app happen. But you don't know how you can send and receive funds. You just take our code, you place it into the proper place on the button. Okay, this is the receive button, this is the send button. This is oversimplifying it, but basically you don't need to know anything about the Lightning Network, how you have to set up the node, how you secure it, about the signers, about watching for the graph, all those complicated things, which, by the way, I don't know some of the things, but you take that code, you have the front end, you plug in that code, and now that app becomes Lightning app, as I mentioned, and you send and receive. On to the Relay app, they announced, and I think you're involved with them a little bit also, that yeah, they were a broker and they had a vision to implement Lightning. Now we're part of our design partners, and they said, okay, this is so much easier than we actually trying to figure out. We take that code and into the same app, they just added Lightning. And behind the scenes, it's really us optimizing and sending the payment. But for the user themselves, it's just basically the same app, which is familiar. But right now it's, and they keep focusing on the broker side. They don't want to make another division and trying to figure out all those sorts of things that we specialize in. And now we specialize in our expertise, what we want to do. We are about the sending payments on Lightning. They focus on how do we get that experience to our users. And the experience for Relay app is onboarding, so buying Bitcoin, but that same experience could be a game. That same experience could be, for example, crowd health, which again are using our SDK, and they focus on onboarding doctors and people that would like to have a better social security than in America. But that's basically the idea. You focus on what your expertise is and the service or the product to your users. And the analogy, just to make it really simple, when you go to the store and you put in the credit card, the store has no idea what the credit card has to do in order to receive the money. That's what we do for the apps about Lightning. You don't need to know about all that complexity. You need it to work, and you focus on the store. I want to sell my merch. So that's the analogy that I could make.
Yeah, and in the case of Relay, yeah, you're perfectly right there, because when Lightning was kind of the hashtag meme that the plebs were just piling into them about, and Julian and Adam obviously wanted to, have a Lightning feature on the wallet, but like you say, that was, I mean, Adam would just be like drowning under the thought of just implementing Lightning and the huge amount of work that would go into that and hiring people to achieve that. But then, yeah, of course, coming to the conclusion that, wow, we can use Breeze, we can plug in their SDK, concentrate on our core business plan, and give the users what they want at the same time. And they announced its Lugano Plan B, that it was going live. And if anybody's played around with it, be great to hear feedback. But amazing, and like you said, when like those waves of knowledge that keep coming, right? When you think you've been down the Bitcoin rabbit hole long enough, but then something else comes along. There are many more epiphanies waiting in the mempool of your Bitcoin rabbit hole, right?
Absolutely. And the one beautiful thing when you put in the SDK that I don't think even the users realize yet. I by the way, didn't realize it for some months when I worked at Breeze, but when you put in the SDK, for example, Relay, Crowd Health, Satimoto, Green Wallet are partners that announced that are using Breeze SDK. Now you can plug in the same node to all those. So you don't have to, for example, just like we do now, I send some SADs from Breeze to Wallet of Satoshi, to ZBD, to whatever, so you can use the service, what they do. But now the same node, you operate through one balance for Crowd Health, for Relay, for Bitbox, for Satimoto, and you are not going to even pay the ridiculously small fees on the Lightning just because the balance is one. I think the long-term vision is these devices they have a Bitcoin Lightning balance on top of them, and you just open apps and you pay through the same balance. Again, analogy just like the credit card. You don't transfer between credit cards or flying points, miles, or whatever it is, so you can transact in the app. But this is something that's really cool, and I don't think there's another app that does this. I mean SDK, but this is awesome feature, I think, and finally I can operate through one balance, and I don't have to switch from here to there to this. And I test a lot of stuff. I like to know about the apps, but now it's too many Lightning development companies, so I can't keep up. So I focus more on the Breeze side and the SDK partners, as I mentioned.
Which is a bullish sign that you can't keep up with the amount of development that's going on out there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially on that layer, especially on layer 2 solutions and Lightning. So, all right, let's do the instant settlement thing, because you said you'd written an article, and this is another thing that has been kind of washing over you as you've taken your role here at Breeze.
Yeah. Just to pre-frame the thing is, I realized the problems in the Fiat system because I was in management in a lot of industries, in a lot of companies before my Bitcoin enlightenment. But the problem that I saw is that there's a direct conflict between a company or a manager and the employees. And the conflict is that the employee, once they start, they figure out in the first month or maybe a few months what they need to do, and they try to do as little as possible so they don't get fired. And on the other side, the managers and the company and the owners, they actually want the employees to do as much as possible for the least amount of money that they can pay them. And that's a direct conflict. And I didn't know, I just recognized it 10 years ago, probably a little bit more, but I didn't know what was the root cause of that problem. And now with the instant settlement, I realized that the actual problem is that the employees receive money, so value in a form of money for their time. It is not for the work done. And that's a direct, that contributes to the direct conflict. So when you receive money for your time and not for the actual work done, that means in order for you to increase your profits, you have to do nothing and you still receive money. Kind of like a central bank, but data dynamic actually happens with the employees. Every single person that receives money for their time, that's their incentive to do as little as possible or nothing for the longest possible time. And what that thing means now that we have instant settlement, you don't have to pay anybody about their time, especially people that are doing physical things, physical work. Knowledge work is a little bit different because you can't predict it, but just like in the podcasting space, you can split your fees with the producer, the guest, whatever it is, and everybody receives their share in the Lightning network. That is applicable everywhere. Why not when you go to a store and let's say the employee sells you one shirt and that shirt is, let's say, 50 pounds, the employee receives, let's say, 30%. The business receives 10%, the owner receives 50%, whoever receives whatever amount in the split payment instantly for each individual buy. And now everything is aligned in the same direction, because the employee receives for the amount of work done. So even in a construction company, if you're paid for weekly wage or for daily wage, what if you say, okay, the investor says, I want for you to construct a building, and the building company says it's going to cost this, and now you pay for each individual wall, for each window, for each door, for whatever part of that construction happens, the amount of SaaS that you have to receive instantly, paper task things. And now the employees, again, they don't have that incentive to do as little as possible, but they have the reverse incentive, which is aligned exactly with the company and with the managers, that, oh, if I do the most amount of tasks for as little as possible, now I can receive the most amount of actual value, the most amount of sats. And again, everybody receives them instantaneously, just with the split payment. That's basically the concept that I didn't realize, but that's the progression from the problem to this. I think this, to realize, Lightning Network has to be a lot more reliable, a lot more adoption needs to happen. But I think we're going to go there anyway, just because of that natural incentive, because now you're going to implement this, and all your employees will be the best, and somebody that pays them by their time, they're going to slack off, and the end result will be what we have now in Fiat land. But now, when you have a natural incentive in the labor market for a free market to compete, I realize that free market means that you need a competition. If there is no competition, there is no free market. So just to test my theory right now, I ask myself, what is there a place where we have this type of incentive to compete in the labor market? And there is in sports, because there, whether you're an employee in a football club or whatever sport you play, you have a natural incentive to compete for the trophy. So that's the other incentive, because if in every sport you say everybody that competes, you all are going to get trophies and you're all going to get paid equally, just like what's happening right now in the labor market. Well, no, what's the incentive to do better? There is no incentive. So people are not going to put their best foot forward. And that's why I think eventually we'll come to this feature, but I think we're a long way off. I just stumbled onto this, realizing the instant settlement thing. And yeah, I'll stop here for some questions. And
yeah, it's great. The psychological and societal impact of instant settlement is going to be huge. Absolutely huge when that becomes realized. And like you said, this is just another wave of realization. I mean, we've all come to the realization, I would imagine, that, you know, Bitcoin fixes this, Bitcoin changes everything, philosophically, sociologically, behaviorally, changes your mindset. But then with that is like, bam, instant settlement. Wait until people wake up to instant settlement, and how that changes the incentive structures that we know are completely misaligned, and how that improves the end result of everything.
Absolutely everything. And again, the root of the problem is that there is no competition. Like, you're paying equally for different output. Because when I was working, I always wanted to be the best. I had this competition mindset from a young child, and I applied it to everything. And people were telling me, oh, you're crazy. Why are you doing so much work? Nobody's paying you that extra effort. But I was thinking in different terms. So I had to not see the natural incentive for the money itself. I was searching for other valuable things. Maybe I get promoted, maybe I get the skill itself, or just the feeling I want to be the best. But this type of thing will be totally eradicated. And I think a lot of people will be opposed to this, just because we're so much used to, I want to do nothing, or just tying it back to the beginning, people asking for permission because, yeah, the central bank prints money for doing nothing and receiving value, but through the whole fiat stack that's happening in different levels, that same mindset, I want something for nothing.
Yep.
And maybe I would offend some Bitcoiners, but I think some people are trying to apply that type of thinking, doing something for nothing, through hodling. For me, hodl only is proof of stake. Like, hodling only is, again, trying to receive something and waiting for the number go up. Yeah, that is important, but do so many other things. That's not where the actual value of your life lies. Like, okay, buy Bitcoin, put it in time lock in 50 years, and whatever. Like, that's not enough. Those are tools that you need to use so you can have 10 more times output. You can have 10 more times input also for the valuable things that you want in your life. And the valuable things are not money. Those are medium of exchanges. So use it in that manner. So it will transform absolutely everything. And that's, again, just one part that we're trying to start grasping with the second layer. And the second layer, we're a toddler there. We're at the 5th, 6th year in the Lightning Network. And yeah, I'm so excited. Like, the future is bright, and it will happen in a free market way in the whole stack of the human experience, if I could say this.
And if we use a direct comparison in the fiat world, let's look at how bad it is when you look at lawyers or consultants who charge per hour, and
Yes.
they are incentivized to charge as many hours as possible. And it's got to such a joke whereby you work for 35 minutes on something, but you charge for the hour. Right?
Yeah.
It's vile. And so you're incentivized to do as little as possible. Literally, you could work for 31 minutes and charge an hour's work. Like that is such a broken system. But as long as you've got some waffle on like a piece of on a shared document or something, so it looks as though you've actually done some kind of work, or you've done some kind of spreadsheet or pulled up a pie chart which you've just literally copy pasted and then just like, fudge some numbers here, there, and everything. Send it off to the client. It took me, how long did that take me? Oh, yeah, I could bill an hour for that, no problem. This is disgusting. Like, and we wonder why we live in a society in which we do, where trust between people is minimal and everybody is falling over each other to compete rather than collaborate, and all trying to get something for nothing. Completely against what we understand in the Bitcoin land as, there is no such thing as a free lunch. Fiat world is all about chasing the free lunch, which they believe exists.
I would agree that it exists, especially in some cases. We're trying to apply that mentality. You're getting something for nothing. You can apply that mentality and find some type of a solution. But just because you're not paying it, somebody else is. But it could be a free lunch for the person applying that strategy. And I thought that even, let's say, somebody, how I stumbled onto this, by the way, is let's say that somebody is building a wall. I'm using construction examples because they're most visual and easily to understand. But let's say we have two builders of a wall, and one of them builds two walls in half a day. The other one does one wall in twice amount of time, and it's barely meeting standards. Like, why should they receive the same amount of money? And also, because the lazy one is doing that slow effort, that he is not only stealing from the person next to him, but he's stealing from our collective society, because as somebody will pay that cost. And just because you're not doing your work, you're imposing more tax, actual valuable stuff on the people that are doing. So if you get a subsidy, that means that people that actually produce have to produce even more in order to subsidize you. So, and let's say you're subsidized and somebody beneath you get part of your subsidy. You're adding additional stuff into the system of doing nothing and receiving something, but actually you're putting all that cost to the top producers into the ecosystem. And the only way to actually survive and be an actual producer is to use technology and to leverage your productivity. And that's why the best technology companies, or in any sector, and technology could be a lever in some cases, but like flushing out those actors first. I'm not for crushing the central banks. I am for empowering people, and empowering people. When we get on the orange side, like, the other stuff is killing itself. Yeah, I don't have to think about oh, I need to attack the central banks or the politics or the whatever. And for everybody that says, oh, fuck the system or whatever, be aware, because they have a lot of guns and a lot of power, and don't poke the bear. When we are the bear, maybe we can poke them. But just because they can't stop Bitcoin, that doesn't mean that they can stop you. So be aware what you wish for, and attacking the existing status quo. So stay humble, stack sats, provide value, and the rest will follow. Just enrich your life and the people around you. The other people, it will be a natural entropy for them. If you don't provide value, you just die, or you print money and you accelerate your dying faster. So that's my thought. But definitely we need to do more, but be aware of poking the bear.
I like your analogy of building a wall, and I can now envisage getting paid per brick. You know, like instant settlement per brick, and the incentive that would bring somebody in that trade. Yeah, that's powerful.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. Because how do you feel when you get that paycheck? And now imagine that you don't get one paycheck per month or per week, but you get a paycheck for each brick. That's the dopamine hit, like, oh my God. And you put another one and you receive it will spiral into so much productivity. And just because we're still watching on the money. And going even deeper is that we'll finally realize that it's not about the fucking money. The money is the thing that allows us to do what we want in our life. But this is the dopamine hit that we need to just attract the fiat mindset, and we cleanse out. But you should start. I said that in our last talk, that you should start with, what do I want in my life? And you track that list, what you're accomplishing, not how much sats or how much dollars or whatever medium of exchange I have.
Yeah, man, that's cool. That's very, very cool. It's a great way to think about it. And yeah, completely as usual, Bitcoin takes the fiat legacy system, turns it on its head, and works in the completely opposite way, because we've lived in such an inverted world now for, well, ever since 1971. And I love having these conversations and coming across these epiphanies and how people have come to think about it and what it could mean, for the world and how we're going to look in 5 to 10 years time. Huge.
Yeah,
And
just
then
like you said about the bricks,
Yeah.
that's just in construction. But think about, for example, you pay, for example, right now you pay the taxi when you get out. Why not paying it per meter when it goes to the thing? Why not in the taxi? Let's say you have a massage chair, and that's an additional feature that you stream charge for using it. Why not in the logistics company? Let's say when you order something online, and everybody is taking the risk until either you pay before it's actually delivered and you take the risk, or you pay when it's delivered, the product, and everybody takes that risk of, are we going to get paid? But now imagine that everybody that touched that thing to get to you actually receives a portion in a split payment through the Lightning Network, and the website receives its cut, the person delivering the thing receives its cut, the delivery company, the owner, the producer, everybody, and all at the same time. Like, I have no idea what's actually going to happen. And that's my next article, that then you'll be incentivized to actually to do some, let's say, deliveries to your neighbors. You pick up from DHL or whatever company is in the country, and deliver stuff to your neighbors just by convenience. Because why not get some extra effort? Because I'll provide some value to my neighbors. And do you think that the neighbors wouldn't want their neighbor to be the delivery guy or not somebody else? Like, and again, this is just scratching the surface of what is coming. So I'm so excited because starting from the beginning, I was the person that wanted to compete and ignored, okay, be lazy and receive the salary and do nothing. Like, oh, get a stable job or whatever my grandma was saying. But now that everybody is going to compete, and it's all for our collective benefit. It's not because, for example, Messi or Ronaldo receive so much money. No, they did the proof of work, and now they have that type of proof of stake and momentum to cash out or whatever. But that doesn't mean that when they are put in the pitch, the person that receives less money isn't going to try to outscore them, isn't going to try to compete. Like, again, it's this equalizing force, and now that's coming to the labor market. I couldn't be more excited about this.
Excellent rip, man. Excellent rip. Okay. Final question. If you had one last orange pill left to give to somebody, who would you give it to and why?
This time I'm prepared about this one, and just tying it up with my community and what I said that we need to do more. I would give it to, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Social Dilemma documentary. Yeah, this is the impact that the social media is having on the kids and in general. I think now it's probably 5 years old documentary, but it's good. And the person that actually was one of the main contributors into the documentary and realizing it is Tristan. Tristan Harris, and he came from Google, and he realized the problems when he was actually at Google. In the documentary is very well, but I would orange pill him, and I would make him talk to Jeff Booth, because he realizes AI and stuff like that and implications. If I orange pill him, that's because he's looking at the problems in social media. I think Bitcoin is going to fix even that, but I don't know exactly how. So I will orange pill him and let him loose into the world because he is a gold doer. But an interesting conversation would be between him and Jeff both, in my opinion.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. How can we get people in touch with you? What's the best way to find you? And where are you releasing articles? And what's next up your sleeve?
Yeah, internally in Breeze, we're focusing on the SDK and onboarding as many partners as we can. That is awesome, and we have in the pipeline people that are going to come out in the next months. People will be amazed about this. So that's exciting. On Twitter, you can search for me. I'm Naku2000, Nackoo 2000, and I try to engage more on Noster, but I don't have the network there as much. Still, that's not really my game, but if you're a pleb, and especially if you're in Bulgaria or try to do something, reach out. Like, I'm amazed by the people that do such a small thing, and it turns out it just ripples into the whole network, and it inspires. Just like I'm not sure if you saw BTC sessions trying to do something for merchants, clearly. That's awesome, and that's the initiatives that we do. And just like I said, I don't want to do some of the things, but I think they're so important, and I start doing them, and it comes back in such a way that I couldn't predict. I couldn't plan even, and that's the beauty of the world that Bitcoiners live in. And I'm a little bit sad, and it still motivates me to just onboard more and more people. But let's do stuff and tied onto Bitcoin. You don't need to be a dev to contribute. Just contribute. That's it.
That's the final message. Let's fucking go is the final message.
Yes.
All right. Ivan, great to hang out again. Thank you for everything that you're doing in the Bitcoin space. Thanks for sharing your thoughts today, and looking forward to that next release by Breeze. Can't wait for that to come out and see what that's all about. So chat again soon, man.
Chat again soon. Thanks for having me.
See ya.